I don't care. Anyway, yeah, let's keep going through a few of these screenshots. Now, this is actually one of the CLs. You can see how he has a bluish sort of gray tinge to his skin and everything, and he's got like pirate sort of looking mermaid armor on. And they were actually called
Yeah.
Maormer. Um, like the High Elves, they're called Altmer, which means High Elves, and then you have the Dunmer, which literally means like ash dwelling elves or something like that, or maybe even dark elves in their language. Dwemer, or the dwarves, that meant deep
Yeah.
elves, and
Damn it! When
Orgrimmar.
are we gonna finally get to see dwarves?
Um, you don't actually get to see dwarves in the game. I don't think you might. There might be a quest. But essentially, they were elves. They looked like every other elf. They probably even looked like the high elves, except they lived underground and they had, the stereotypical long beards most of the time.
See, like every anything fantasy based with dwarves and elves and stuff like that, dwarves have always like not gotten along with elves. So this is like the first time that like
Yeah,
I've
like,
ever seen anything
oh,
where they
let me
did.
let me interrupt you right here. Here you can see, like, I stripped my character down to his underwear. Like, I was in the bedroom here and I was making a joke to somebody, like I was a prostitute or something, and I was fucking around with somebody and they left because I creeped them out. I was just laughing and slapping my knee as hard as I could. But right here, you can see the level up screen. Now, whenever you level up, like, there will be a plus and a minus sign on each side of those numbers there underneath the magic of health and stamina, and you just choose which you want to put points into, or you can take points out of them. Unlike Skyrim, where you just selected something and you were stuck with it, you couldn't make up your mind or like switch it out and stuff and see what the stats would do. Whereas you can do that here. And I think I actually tried out several different types of emotes. Like, there's the kneel pray emote that you can do. You can see someone like in bright white letters in the local chat saying, "What is wrong with the ESO community? You guys are fucking lame." And I never had that problem when I was in the Ebonheart pack, so I guess it's just limited to the elves. It's all the friggin' elves, man.
I'm telling you, elves, dude. I kill elves for fun.
There's the
Okay, I
face
use them as
palm.
target practice and like practice dummies for my sword.
There's the face palm again. I love the face palm emote. I love it so much. There's a dust off emote, which I entered. Still going through that right now. That's actually a flirt emote where you can like blow someone a kiss. But right there, I timed it just right to where it looks like he's holding out his hand and he's like, "Come with me." That's actually him dancing. I think I took like several of these in succession. It looks like a
Yeah.
stripper dance. I swear to God.
Also, I just want to point out that the person that said that what the fuck is wrong with the ESO community, you guys are fucking lame. Negro Spirit. What kind of name is that? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that.
You don't appreciate role playing games, then you have no power here.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly. But what are you gonna do? There are role players who play role playing games, and then there are gamers who play role playing games, and the gamers usually don't give
Yeah,
enough of a damn to take it seriously. But
yeah.
you can see like a lot of good vistas here. I got a good vista of the town of Mistral, I believe it's called. That nice fjord. I think it's a fjord or it's a chasm one. I can't remember what it's called. That mansion there. Razumdar, leaning on a post and flipping a coin like a boss. Arms crossed. Now you see, um, you can make Khajiit like you can make them look like almost. You can make them look like an anthropomorphic, almost any type of cat from Earth. Like this one is a female white tiger, like Khajiit, and mine I made him look like a cougar or a puma or a mountain lion or whatever you call those. You can make them have black fur and look like black panthers. You can also make them have leopard spots and cheetah spots. And the customization is like really extensive. Like most of the hair options and stuff you see here, you can actually choose in the customization. The customization is really in depth, and I like it. I really like it. I always seem to get those damn texture bugs over there in the screenshot somehow. You can see the staff right there. You remember how I said the Khajiit have, like, their stuff is mostly designed after the moon, especially, like, the sorcerers. Their staves are crescent moons, which is awesome, because it looks kind of like a scythe, almost. Which is another
Oh
reason
wow.
why the Khajiit sorcerers are badass looking. You can see another sort of view of it there. Those pillars of lightning. I actually had to deactivate those. I remember now with a runestone because they were there's the runestone effect where I'm deactivating them because they were actually causing another hurricane, so you had to deactivate those. All that lovely shit.
How many have we gone through?
I'd say a good bit over half of them. If anybody wants to take any questions now, now's a good time. If you have a question about a screenshot, feel free to ask. If you want to know something about the game specific, feel free to ask.
Millie actually said that at one point in your screenshot, something looked like a Zandalari house. So it's something from WoW.
Probably one of the houses that were like built up on stilts and stuff. That's probably what I'm guessing. That's actually
Yeah.
Khajiit design, I believe. That's what they build in
Nice.
their like forest and island areas.
Okay.
You can see there I set something on fire, and you can see the CLs have that blue skin and everything. They look really, they look like mermaids almost. I think that's the design they had going with them. I wonder, like, if... That is one of my most favorite abilities ever, I swear. That ability is so damn fun, because what it is essentially, like, it's a close quarters combat, it's not a spell really, but it's an ability. If you hit the button when they're, like, in your face, you essentially bash them with your staff and send them flying as a sorcerer. I love that ability because it's A, hilarious, B, badass, and C, it looks so friggin' cool. And I probably, like, you can see one there, I've, like, knocked them off into the distance, and it almost looks like I'm about to do the Gandalf, "You shall not pass!"
Nice. Yeah, Millie, I know I probably sound tired. It's pretty late here.
Quite. I don't know what time it is because I don't have a clock readily available for me.
I don't work tomorrow. I don't care about sleep. I will sound tired for the rest of the night, and I'm going to game my life away. I don't care.
Yeah, so,
Elder Scrolls does that. It takes your life. It's gone.
So, Arlen, is there anything that you want to know, like, specifically? Like, is there anything as someone who's played Skyrim that you want to know about this? Or someone who plays Skyrim and, you're going into this as an MMO, is there anything you want to know about it as an MMO?
I just I don't know. I guess the only thing I could ask is like what about wielding magic in your hands? How you can like put it in your hand and as long as you've got magic, constant fire. Do we still have that, or is it all on abilities now?
Well, for the abilities aren't on cooldowns. If you've got the magicka for them, they actually take up some of your magicka, so any ability will take up magicka, just like in Skyrim and Oblivion. So, your blue magicka bar. For some reason, my bashing ability with the staff that does a little bit of magicka damage, I guess it makes sense that it does magicka damage since you can see, like, the magical effect around the guy there. But you
Yeah.
can't, like, wield it in your hands and, like, fire it off like you could in Skyrim. Uh, you have to use a staff weapon. Like, you have to have a weapon to be able to, like, um, cast spells, so you have to have a staff. You can't put the spells in your hands. All your spells are on your hotbars now, and they're your abilities, so you can't like sit there and just rapid fire lightning bolt over and over and just spam kill somebody. But there are no cooldowns for any of the abilities. It's all on Magicka. Except for,
Okay,
like, you see
good,
how
good.
it has R down there? That is for a supreme
Yeah,
ability, like an ultimate ability. Like, each of those, like, class-specific things has an ultimate ability. Like, each of those, all of those have an ultimate ability. And an ultimate ability does have a cooldown. Like, it builds up its own meter. And then, once it's full, you can use that ultimate ability.
right.
That's the only one that is actually on some sort of cooldown, if I recall. And this is the spell that I use there. I think it's at number 4. What it is essentially you tap your staff down as a sorcerer, like Gandalf with the "You shall not pass," and it sends out that wave of fire to engulf anything in front of you. It's an area of effect attack. Very useful. I like it. It's cool. It's one of my favorite abilities as a sorcerer. I never got to use it as Kletos, so I'm actually glad that I went with a sorcerer again, because now I can try stuff like, I've done that before. I still have Crystal Shard, but, I
Yeah,
can morph it a different way.
get him,
Abilities,
Cletus.
yeah. Abilities actually level up too, and, like, once you hit, like, tier 4 of that level and you complete that, you can morph an ability. And when you morph it, like, Crystal Shard turns into either Crystal Blast or Crystal something or other. I can't remember what the other one is, but they each of those can morph into something else. Like, they have different effects. Like, they work the same way, but they have another effect added to them. Or, like, this one that you see in this screenshot, I can either make the area that it affects bigger, and, like, I can make it
Yeah.
last longer, or I can make it explode once it's done.
Oh, okay.
And I really like that. And there is a lot of freedom, too. I know there are a lot of people who are going to be scared going into this. Like, how MMOs always limit you to, like, where your class goes or anything.
Yeah.
In the game here, you saw I was the sorcerer class, but in the tutorial I was using a sword. You are not limited by your
Right.
class. Your class is actually just a base to build off of. You're not locked into your class. Like, you're not stuck just doing magic stuff. You're not just stuck doing...
So it's like you won't find a weapon or a bow or anything that says,
You
archers
can't use
only.
this. Yeah, like, you can't... It's not like archers only. You can be a bow-wielding sorcerer or a dual-wielding sorcerer. You can wear heavy armor as a
That's
sorcerer.
that's what I like about Elder Scrolls. Aside from any RPG I've ever played, you can do anything you want to. It's
Exactly. There's a
up
lot
to
of
you.
freedom to it, and a lot of people say that there isn't, like, freedom of exploration, but it is very much there. You remember the sky shards that we showed earlier in the stream? One of them I was
Yes.
actually collecting. Uh, for every 3 you get, or every 3 you find and you activate, you get a skill point. Free skill point. You don't have to level up. You get a skill point for every 3 of those you find. That encourages exploration right there. And they're so well hidden and, like, scattered throughout the world in different places, like, they're sick in every zone.
Right.
So each one of those that you find, or each 3 of those that you find, combines into a skill point, and then you get to spend that skill point however you want. And then, like, the
That's
crafting
awesome.
stuff, you can't buy crafting stuff from vendors. If you want to, like, craft your own stuff, first you've got to go out into the world and find stuff. So, like, if you want to make your own robes, you've got to go to a clothier first you've got to go out and you've got to find, like, the fibrous materials. Like, jute is pretty much cotton in this world, so you've got to go out and pick jute. And then you've got to go refine it. And then once you refine it, you've got to add, like, if you want to create in a style, there are actually racial styles. Like, for example, I used Moonstone to make the Khajiit style. Like, the Khajiit style of the staves there, I've got to have Moonstone. Which makes sense because you know how they revere the moons and everything.
Right. And yeah, Millie, I can't really I can't say if WoW is better or Elder Scrolls Online is better because I haven't played either one. So
I can say
I'm not
because
really going to agree or disagree
I
with your
played a
statement.
trial of WoW, and I've seen a lot of gameplay, and I can tell you right now, Elder Scrolls Online is definitely leaps and bounds better. One of the biggest reasons is you can see the UI here. In World of Warcraft, for example, like there's 25 hotkeys on the screen at once, and you've got like your health
Uh,
bar everywhere, and everybody's name is above their head on the screen and everything. The UI is cluttered and ugly. The camera angle is atrocious. You're stuck in orbit, viewing your person from satellite. Character customization doesn't matter because you can't fucking see it because they're too far away from the camera. And the
right. And
quests,
I'm gonna try WoW. I just when I get a better computer, I'm gonna play both.
yeah,
But
the
I don't
quests
know.
the quests in WoW and pretty much every other MMO until like some of the most recent ones are always farming enemies. Like, we're having problems with this group of 10 rats. Could you go take care of them, please? And then you run out and you kill the rats, and you go back and like a lot of those quests, you do them again and again to farm like level up points. You don't do that here. Every quest is unique in this game. Like there are some like where you have to go out and collect stuff. There's a couple fetch quests, and there is maybe that one farming point, farming sort of quest that you got to do. But they're nowhere near as bad as they are in games like WoW. And like this quest here, I actually had to go into a dungeon, fight all these sea vipers, and kill a vampire at the end. There's actually an end goal to quests, and it makes sense in the lore, and they give it a purpose. A lot of people say that the quests are boring, and I'm like, what fucking rock do you live under? Because that one quest where I got to infiltrate that fort, find evidence of necromancy, go in, rescue those two people tied to the slabs, and then fight the necromancer in this big epic boss battle where he turns into this giant flesh monster. Where do you see that in WoW, honestly?
I
And
I don't know.
there's a lot of quests like that in this game. Like they have substance to them. It's not go here and farm points. Okay, come back and I'll give you a generic reward. It's not like that at all. It's much better. Anyone who says otherwise, like if you hear someone say copy paste MMO, lies. They're lying through their tooth because they're probably so stupid they've had all their teeth punched out before because they've said stupid shit like that before.
Yeah.
Or they're an inbred hick. Probably both. This game, I hate MMOs. Especially MMOs like WoW and anything with the WoW formula. I can't stand the WoW formula where cluttered UI, click on something and watch your character hack away at it with hit and miss bull crap over it and everything while you sit there and tap 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3. Someone said that the combat in ESO was boring and repetitive compared to WoW. And I was like, what in the fuck are you going on about, you brainless monkey? You're telling me that
Yeah, there's a
real-time
lot of WoW
action...
veterans out there that's played it for 7, 8 years, sometimes even longer.
Yeah, and like that's ingrained into their brain, like this is the only way a game can be fun, and I'm like, if you
I
think
mean,
that's fun, no. Just go
I
back to
mean, just because a
WoW.
game comes out and it like changes everything, I don't think it would make WoW a better game or a worse game. I
Yeah.
just, it's at the basis. Elder Scrolls Online is just another game.
Yeah.
I mean,
A
it
lot
does
of
change a lot
people,
for
like,
us, but yeah.
yeah, a lot of people ask if this is going to be, like, the WoW killer. And, I can't
See, I
honestly
disagree
say
with
that
stuff like that.
before.
I don't think games are meant to. I
Yeah,
don't think
like,
games are supposed to be meant to get better and destroy past games.
unless it's a direct sequel. Like, if they came out with World of Warcraft 2, it should obviously be better than
Yeah,
the
that's
original.
that's its own thing. Yeah, but if a separate series comes out, it's not. Well, this one's better. This one's off the market. No, I don't think that should happen because there's going to be fans for both.
Yeah, and this is ZeniMax and Bethesda's first attempt at ever making an MMO, and it's really good for a first attempt at anything. Like, this company is brand new, and they're on a budget, and to make this,
Yeah.
they're doing a really good job. I am very impressed with these
Yeah.
people.
I'm
As
I'm pretty impressed
as an
with
MMO,
Elder
I
Scrolls
hate
Online.
MMOs, and I love this game. I couldn't put it down most of the time, especially like the first time I played. I loved doing the quests. I loved exploring. I loved, like fighting with my character and choosing what I wanted to do, doing it how I wanted to do. I wasn't limited. It felt like an Elder Scrolls game. It didn't feel like an on-rails theme park MMO where I was just going from one city to the next. I could go wherever the fuck I wanted to.
See,
And
I actually don't mind MMOs. I played Perfect World for 3
yeah,
going on
obviously,
4 years,
like that's one of the reasons
but
why I
and
wanted
I
to have
think
you
I would
here.
honestly like WoW.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you here, because, you actually kind of like that gameplay, and, it doesn't bother you, and, as an MMO person who's played an MMO
I can
before,
tell. Yeah,
and you obviously haven't played
I'm not going to be
ESO.
biased about it.
Yeah, because I can't stand biased people. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh,
I'm,
you're just a fanboy defending the game, and I'm like, no, I'm defending the game's good merits against stupid people.
yeah,
Honestly, this
I've
beta,
always had a universal opinion. I've never had this game is better than this game series. Well, no, I play them both. Yeah, I
yeah,
play everything. You put a video game in my hand and I'll play it. I won't tell you whose is better.
yeah, the console wars is the stupidest thing to ever come out of the gaming community, because if you're a gamer,
Yeah.
instead of warring with other gamers over what box you play it on is better, play it on all of them and enjoy games together as fucking gamers, you
Yeah.
goddamn morons.
Yeah, see, that's why I hate console wars. I'm gonna own both an Xbox One and a PS4 and a good computer,
Yeah, and
and
a
I'll
lot of
have a
people,
Wii
like, they're so
U and all that.
prejudiced.
I'm gonna have everything I can.
Yeah, a lot of people, like, they're so prejudiced against the Xbox One for, the stuff Microsoft did, but they took it back, dumbasses. It's not like it's still there. It's a good console. It really is.
They
I've
realized their
actually had the
mistakes
chance to
and
play
took it
it.
away.
Yeah, I've actually had the chance to play it and use it, and it is a really good machine. There's no reason anyone should still be hating on it. I mean, the term X-Bone is, it's kind of caught on, and I still use it, but I mean, it's so derogatory, and it shouldn't be anymore. I mean, for the PlayStation 4's flaws, I could call it the Piss 4. You want to call the X-Bone the X-Bone? Bam, Piss 4.
Yeah.
And I can't stand
That's
PC
why
supremacists.
I am a freaking rabid. Like you saw how it went with the whole Xbox 360 thing. I've had to get rid of how many, and I've got this one, and I've basically said it's here to stay. I'm never getting rid of it, but my PlayStation is never going anywhere either. But I still call it like Microshaft instead of Microsoft. Not
Yeah,
insulting, just funny, you know?
yeah. And, I mean, they actually deserve a little bit more respect from that. And I know, like, I hate PC supremacists. I know that the PC has, more, graphical quality and blah blah and all that fucking shit. But no one cares. No one cares if you
Yeah,
had $5,000 to go spend on this big epic fucking internet-sized computer that can run games for, like, the next 12 years and has super graphics that will melt your eyes out of your skull. Stop
yeah.
fucking pulling your dick out and waving it around like, you're special. No one fucking cares.
I'm gonna
I
have it all.
I actually play the
I'm gonna have
PC.
all the consoles and the computers.
Like,
What now?
I suck at PC games because to me a keyboard is like, it's like playing Twister with my fingers. It's so fucking awkward. Like, the
It's
control scheme in this game, like, to to pull up like the menus, just to like generally pull up a menu, you hit Alt, which means you've got to either draw like your middle finger back to tap Alt, and sheathing your weapons is Z, and then like there's these special abilities you press X for. Like, moving my fingers
yeah,
back is so awkward, especially in combat. Uh, that
yeah.
like,
But me, I don't know what it is. I guess this is just like the gamer in me. It doesn't matter what you put in my hands, new or not. I instantly get adapted to it. Like I went from PlayStation constantly only PlayStation to I actually went to computer and somebody was showing me the whole WASD thing and spacebar. Use this to mouse and then you use the numbers and stuff. And then
Yeah,
I
it's
can
really
do
easy to
everything
get
without
into.
looking. It took me one day and I was instantly doing it like it wasn't even a freaking big deal.
Yeah,
Never hit the wrong button and I never do.
it's really easy to get into. But to add, context to the whole console discussion, this game is coming to the consoles. I played the PC beta. Now, there is something that I didn't like in the PC. There's a lot of things that I didn't like in the beta, for example. Like, there were so many bugs. Like, when they made the starter islands not mandatory, it broke so many quests. Like, every quest I had was broken. The quest I'm on now in the screenshots was broken.
No.
And that screenshot actually looks badass, by the way. That looks awesome. It's stuff like that. But, yeah, this game is coming to the consoles, and there are a lot of PC people who are like, oh, you're going to play it on the consoles? God, you people are so fucking stupid. And I'm like, well, people say that building a PC is cheaper than getting a new console, but no, it's not. If you want good stuff to go inside your PC, it's going to cost you still. Like, there are some pieces out there, like I looked up one of the higher quality NVIDIA graphics cards. That motherfucker was $250. What the fucking hell are you talking about, cheap? And
I mean,
the
I don't
PC
know.
is,
You get what you pay for. That's the way I look at
yeah, but
it.
I mean, if you're going to put time and money into a PC, you obviously want what's best for it, and that's going to be expensive. Like, there are some people out there,
Yeah,
you could get parts cheap these days, and I'm like, you know what? $100 isn't cheap. $75 is cheap for a computer part, but I still don't fucking have that much money at any given time.
yeah, I'm not gonna sit here like I'm gonna get a good computer one day. I mean, it may not be the best, but I'll get a good one. But I'm never gonna diss anyone who plays the consoles either. I'm not gonna be all like,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
well, oh my
I
god,
like playing on
you're
all of
good,
them.
dude.
I mean,
Stuff
even
happened on PC. You guys suck now.
yeah, like even though I'm awkward at the keyboard, I still like playing on PC because they have mods. I actually got to try Skyrim for the PC with mods, and I had so much more fun. I actually got into the game again. I was getting a little bored of the game on console. I put in the
Pony
mods.
dragons and lightsabers.
Yeah, exactly. The fucking lightsaber mod was my favorite. I ran around with lightsabers so often when I had the chance to play it on PC. I loved that mod. And
Yeah,
consoles don't get mods, but Bethesda actually did something really awesome with Skyrim where they took PC mods and they officialized them and touched them up themselves and then released them as free DLC and patches. And some of them actually got added into things like Dragonborn and Dawnguard. Like, for example, Horse-Mounted Combat was originally a mod for the PC. And
yeah,
player homes, that was actually realized in a mod before, but they actually made it so much bigger and they gave more meat to it, and they gave you the ability to adopt children when you marry and all that stuff and hire stewards and all that stuff. You couldn't do that in the mod that's on the screen, and you could have like your own personal carriage and your own garden, your own alchemy garden, a greenhouse, a storage room, a friggin' armory, all that nice stuff.
yeah.
So, I actually wish they did that more often. Like, mods, take them and release them as DLC, free or maybe just cheap. Because, I would buy it, because, that adds extra content to the game that makes it last longer. And, since this game is coming to the consoles, it's easier for me to just buy a console and, download updates all the time for the software and stuff, because, that's a lot less difficult to maintain, because with computers, like, you're always going to have, like, one part that goes out of date, you got to replace it, one part that breaks down, you got to replace it, you go out and got to spend money to, do this and that, and you got to be careful not to, like, open it up and then while working on it have static discharge from your fingers and you're supposed to wear gloves, and it's so much fucking trouble for a PC. And for me, a console is much more convenient. Uh, it's more reliable in terms of how long it. And some people are going to bring up, oh, Ring of Death, but you know what? The PlayStation 4 has had the blue light of death. I don't want to fucking hear it because they've had that problem, and it's been on the news. I actually saw it on a Yahoo article. They've had that problem, and Microsoft, they had a problem. Uh, they're always going to have problems. Every time a game or a console or a PC releases or whatever, it's going to have problems because everything always has problems on day one. Like you might
There's
get it
always
through the
room for
mail.
improvement.
Yeah, there's always room for improvement. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, gamers. Nothing will ever be perfect. This MMO, I guarantee you, it's going to be buggy as hell when it first releases because it's a ZeniMax title. It's coming from the people who own Bethesda. They're cursed with bad releases and buggy releases. Okay? It's gonna happen. And MMOs, like, they always have buggy releases. Guild Wars 2 had a buggy release, for fuck's sake. Gamers are always so overly critical about this stuff, and honestly, a lot of people hate on games like this for what it's not. Like, Elder Scrolls fans hate on it for not being exactly like Elder Scrolls. It's like, there's no single player elements, I can't be alone, And I'm like, you know what, I have panic disorder and I can't go into a public place, but I can fucking play an MMO without, like, having a fucking panic attack and doubling over with my heart pounding out of my chest. For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
So, it just depends on, like, your financial situation, your ease of use and all that stuff, what kind of gamer you are, like, what you like. It's all a matter of opinion. There is no right or wrong. And I really wish gamers would get together and realize that. And, like, people who don't like, the $15 subscription, I know if you can't afford it, that's fine. But if, to sit there and bitch and then say it should go free to play because no games do subscription anymore, and wow. WoW is the most successful MMO ever, and it's still doing a subscription, so that's doing a subscription. And every MMO that is free to play now started with a subscription. Star Wars The Old Republic started with a subscription model. I think Guild Wars 2 was free, actually, like, they remained free, which was a really risque move, but, I guarantee you, like any other free-to-play MMO, they've got pay gates and shit, or a cash shop.
Yeah.
They're always going to have a way to, drain your wallet. Free-to-play, to me, is actually more expensive because, if you have a free-to-play game, it's going to be like, you can play so many levels, insert coin to continue. Play so many levels, insert coin to continue. It's like fucking arcade games, only more expensive because they ask you for, like, pay $10 to unlock this dungeon, or pay $5 to get this mount, or pay this to get this, or this to get that, and it's not free-to-play. You can play the most vanilla, stripped-down fucking version of it for free, but, I mean, if you want the most out of it, you gotta throw money into it. And, free-to-play games...
It's true.
Their customer support is non-existent because they had to lay people off because without a subscription fee to support them, they couldn't fucking pay their damn people. So they had to lay them off, you damn morons. They're businesses. They're not, slaves toiling for our amusement as much as we like to think they are. So, a lot of times gamers piss me off because, they think they're entitled, they think they're always right. They're really childish, and that's the biggest issue I have with the gaming community. It's not a community, it's a fucking war zone full of kids. It's the fucking kids next door, for crying out loud, except they're stupider and whiny.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the kids next door like that. Don't insult them.
Yeah, that's right. You know what? It's even worse than that. It's like the fucking Super Babies. There we go. Terrible movie.
Oh.
Super Babies. There you
Baby
go.
geniuses.
There we go. Baby geniuses. There we go. But yeah, and this game, I have a lot of hopes for it because it has a lot of potential for what it is. What it is it's a decent MMO for a company's first attempt at a fucking MMO with a name like the Elder Scrolls on it. It is set in the Elder Scrolls universe, which has rich lore, and they've got so many characters that you can choose from and completely customize. And they've got interesting cultures, like the Argonians. They don't like have sex mammalianly. They actually do have like humanoid genitalia and stuff, but they hatch from eggs. They actually hatch from eggs, like lizards, but they have humanoid genitalia, and they marry like people do, but they lay eggs, and they have such rich culture in their home of Black Marsh with, and the Elder Scrolls universe in Black Marsh, they've got sentient trees that are probably the oldest living things on the planet.
Huh.
And to have an MMO with all these areas open at once that you can explore by joining these different alliances and having different characters, it opens up a lot of potential. And as a newer Elder Scrolls fan who has Oblivion and Skyrim, Cyrodiil, I got to explore all of Cyrodiil in Oblivion, and now I can explore it again here. It's in a war zone, and there are forts everywhere. And it's 1,000 years in the past, and I can I can actually point out places on the map and be like, oh, I know that place. I found that place in Oblivion. But when you get there,
Yeah.
it looks so different because it's 1,000 years in the past. Like in Oblivion,
Right.
the fort that I just went to and took over is a friggin' ruin, like buried in a hill somewhere. And then uh, you actually have the ability to go up into Skyrim again, and like if you've played Morrowind before, you get to like explore a bit of Morrowind over on the mainland, on the border of Cyrodiil. And
Huh.
like I never got to play Morrowind, so for me it was a new and enriching experience. But some people were complaining that they're like, oh, they took it and copy pasted it and stuff like that, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't even want to touch on that because I'll start raging really hard.
No
And
rage, only
like
happiness.
there is an area like that goes deep into Black Marsh that I'm really looking forward to going into because the Argonians are pretty much equal in my eyes to the sheet. The beast races are my favorites because they're the most interesting. They're not human. They don't have like Skyrim was a great game, and I mean if you're into Norse mythology with like some sort of some English mythology about dragons and stuff, Skyrim's great, but it's too human. Skyrim, you'd never know that you're on an alien planet, on a continent, on an alien planet, surrounded by two moons or anything if you didn't look up in the sky and see the two moons, or, like you didn't go to Solstheim and see the Netch floating everywhere. And you realized you were in, like, this different land that was so different and everything. And being able to
Yeah.
explore all that, like, especially being able to explore the Somerset Isles, because I've wanted to explore a bit of the Somerset Isles too, because, they always built it up as being beautiful. And as you can see in, like, screenshots like these, that take place in the Somerset Isles or on Auradon, um, okay, let me stop right there. Like, you can see right here, I've got, my character screen open, like my character skills and level up screen open. Now this is pretty much like the perks from Skyrim, except it's in a sort of condensed list, for MMO purposes. And you can see I have like the Crystal Blast thing there. Uh, that's my spell that I got to choose, and I can actually get Encase right there by clicking that plus sign. There's passive abilities down there I can choose from. All that lovely stuff. Here's a
Yeah.
better look at the screenshot for Auradon. Now, what was I saying before I went to that screenshot and like pointed out what the level up perk screen looked like?
Um, I'm not sure. I can't keep up with your screenshots because of the delay. It's a little. It's. I'm sorry. It's a little difficult. I'm like, I've got your Twitch playing, so I'm kind of listening to it while you're going through the screenshots while I'm listening to you.
Yeah, like what was I on like before I stopped on that tangent about the skill thing?
Oh shit. I don't remember now.
Uh, I hate shit like that. I know it was important what I was talking about, but fuck it. So,
Oh
are there
well.
are there any questions from the chat?
No, Millie just said be right back. Actually, Millie's our only other viewer right now, so it's just us.
Oh well, so I guess one banana and twin left.
Yeah, I don't know when though. They never said bye or anything. They just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, like, well, I guess they couldn't sit for the podcast. That's fine. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it's not.
about any
It's not the
questions
same
from
thing
you?
as a live stream or anything. So.
Yeah, so it's probably less interesting. But
No, all
anyway,
mine have pretty much been answered. Mine was basically about like like I'd asked way earlier in the beginning of the podcast was the whole skill thing and all that. That's all I was really worried about.
yeah, like judging from like everything that I've told you now, and after this experience with this podcast and hearing me talk about the game and everything, what are your views on it as a gamer and as someone who likes MMOs and as someone who likes to play
It's
Skyrim?
I'm impressed. It's totally a different twist on MMO. I mean, it really is because I don't know. I never thought they would come out with an MMO like this. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, D&D kind of changed because I was playing all those MMOs that were the standard MMO. You click and you watch the attack, and you do all the important stuff, and then your character does the rest. And then D&D came out, or not came out. It came out way before. I started playing D&D, and it was the fight was different and everything else. And then I started getting into single player RPGs, and I found Elder Scrolls, and now they've combined it, and I think they did it really well.
yeah. For their first attempt at an MMO combining a series that's completely like single player before a single player RPG and like uh putting that world and all that lore and everything into an MMO environment that still feels like a single player Elder Scrolls game but has those MMO elements.
Yeah,
They did a
I
fantastic job.
I'll put it this way. Just to kind of shout to freaking Bethesda, this surprised me completely. Because I remember when Skyrim was coming out, I had never played an Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah,
Because when
neither
it
had
was
I.
coming out, I had. You remember you were there for me when I actually got that first Xbox. I met you guys online and you were telling me about it and everything. I hadn't actually had an online console experience. So I don't know anything about Elder Scrolls. And you remember Stefan, he was always telling me about Elder Scrolls Oblivion when he had it, because he had a 360 when they first came out. And he
Yeah.
always had that strategy guide with him in school. And he got me into it, showed me a bunch of funny videos about it. Give it a shot, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And I got into it. And then everybody was talking about how they'd never had multiplayer. I was like, wow, that would be pretty interesting. And we were talking about how there were so many rumors about a 4-player co-op and stuff like that. There's no way this place could, support anything else. And then all of a sudden they're all like, oh yeah, our next role, MMO. How are they going to do that? And then they have it. They did it. I mean, it was.
Yeah, here
It's
it
like,
is. I mean,
wow, you know.
I've played it twice now. Like 2 times in 2 different weeks, and like you can see there in this screenshot right here, my inventory is open, and you can see things like
Yeah.
I've got one of the treasure maps. I actually found one of the treasure maps that you get, by pre-ordering the special edition. And I have like the moonstone there, which is for crafting in the Khajiit style. I have green items, blue items, white items, like in a typical MMO that showcases the
Yeah.
quality and the value. And I've got repair
And another
kits.
thing is, it shows me. Like I said, I will go ahead and say it like word for word what I had said. I said, dude, this game is not. This game is going to crash. It's going to be horrible. There's no way they can combine these two, and yet they did it. And that's what I love about it. I love when games and game developers and gaming companies release something that remind me how far gaming has come and how far it's still progressing. It never ceases to amaze me. Because if you release a game that was the same as the last one you made or something, that's one thing. But then you look from Oblivion to Skyrim and it raised the bar. And then Skyrim to this, it just completely destroys the bar. Everything I thought about the limits to video games is gone. I have to make a whole new limit in my mind now to what they could be because it's gone. They've already passed it.
Yeah. Now, also on the left over there, if you look under accessories, you can see I've got something in a slot there. And what that is it's a disguise, and it's in the costume slot. And there's actually a costume slot where you can get outfits and disguises and wear them over yourself for quests to, like, be able to pass into restricted areas and stuff like that. And I love the fact that they actually have an option like that. And you can see, like, there's a slot there for, like, necklaces or amulets and
Yeah.
rings. Like, there's one for each hand, and you can have rings. And, you can see my weapons. If you see, like, there's a staff there, but, next to it there's a red sort of grayed out staff symbol there,
Yeah.
too. That actually represents the ability to dual wield.
Okay.
And
That's what I was wondering if it was.
you can dual wield like daggers or swords or stuff if you really wanted to. You could
So
actually dual wield
explain
them.
what's locked under those. What's that?
That is actually weapon switching, like quick switching. What it is
Okay.
like at level 15 you unlock the ability to have two extra weapon slots down there, and like there's a button you can press to quickly switch between those. And there is a quick menu too. What it is like you see that arrow up there next to inventory. That's for like quick items. You hold down the Q button and it
Yeah.
brings up a radio wheel of stuff that you've like put in there from your inventory that you can get quick access to.
Nice.
Yeah. And I actually like the design on that for both the PC and the console because it's really easy to use and it's very convenient for combat, especially if
I
you
love
remember what
radial
it
wheels.
is.
I
Yeah,
love them in any game. They
they're
always make
always
things so much easier.
Yeah, they're always helpful and convenient, and they're always nice for gameplay. A lot of people, like, hardcore people who are like, it's too easy, they're there. But for everybody, it's something that, works, and it works so well, why change it? Why fix it if it ain't broke?
Right. You can't fix what's not broken.
Yeah, and,
That's what I love, Dave. That's what I love with video games. That you can't fix what's broken. You can only improve what you've done
yeah, you can only expand and improve
or what's
upon
not broken.
what's
Yeah.
there. And a lot of
Yeah.
people,
It's
like,
not broken, but it can be improved.
yeah, a lot of people, they're are like, we need more original ideas, and there's only so many original ideas. Like, Psychonauts was technically an original idea for a game at its time, but it's a game where it's a platformer, and you have powers, but it's the way that it used those elements that already existed that made it feel original. It was really good, and for
Right.
this, it practically reinvents both Elder Scrolls and the MMO into something new that works really well, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I like it. It's something different, something that, while it's familiar, it's still new. It's not like, oh, I've done this before a million times, for the love of God. Oh. It's nothing like that. And you have all these nice quests where you've got assassins jumping down from the ceiling and like doing stances, and they're like all Kill Bill and shit with their martial arts and stuff.
Yeah.
And you got all these really nice interiors. Like, a lot of people complained that the buildings were too big, and I said that they felt real because this interior feels real. If you, like, in Skyrim, if you go to an inn, this place is like the size of a small house, but you go inside, it's so much bigger on the inside. It's a clown
Right.
car building because, of the limitations of a single player game. And if you think the clown car buildings are more realistic than the huge buildings that actually have mass to them and size, that actually feel like when you walk into them you're walking into a building that feels like it's this size on the
I
inside
feel like
and
I'm walking
outside.
into a huge ass freaking mansion.
Yeah, it's not like this is a mansion and it looks like a fucking dollhouse when you walk up to it.
Yeah.
Which is why I couldn't stand it when, there were Elder Scrolls fans who were complaining about that because, it broke the immersion. I'm like, it's more realistic this way, you brainless idiots. How can you complain about something like that? Sometimes gamers just, I don't get them because half of the stuff they ever complain about is just stupid or pointless or wrong altogether, factually incorrect, logical fallacies. Ah, this courtyard. I wonder if I got a screenshot of Queen Irene. Voiced by... Yep, I did. Queen Irene, voiced by Kate Beckinsale. She was a lot of fun to interact with, and Kate Beckinsale does a good job. I can actually vouch for that. Her personality as a queen, she isn't a queen that sits on her throne all day and she's all elegant and, oh, how posh, how proper. She's not Elizabeth II. She's a fucking badass. Because she will get out and fight with her people. She's dressed in armor right here. And she's got a sense of humor. Like, if you ask her, like, Your Majesty, may I please ask a few questions about you? And she's like, oh, someone who isn't too distracted by my crown to ask by my crown to ask me real questions. And I'm like, wow, this woman has an amazing personality for a queen, and she does work. She's actually there to do stuff. And then, like, you know, as I said, they move in the character screens like this and everything. And you actually get to become, like, pretty much part of the CIA for the Aldmeri Dominion. Not the Thalmor. God, no. You don't get to be a part of those jackasses. Thank God. You get to be a part of the Eyes of the Queen, which is sort of like her Secret Service or her FBI or something like that. You know, that secret, shady organization in the suits that do stuff behind the radar.
Yeah.
And behind the scenes. And it's a lot of fun to work with Raz throughout all of that. I love Raz. He's one of the best characters to ever. And, like, one thing I
Man
will
crush.
say... Oh, shut up. One thing I will say... He's my bro, okay? It's bromance.
Broda.
Broda, there we go. He's my broda. Anyway, you can see here, like, I actually got a shot of a quest complete screen. And, you know, it shows what items you will receive, and then, you know, you have Nevermind or Complete Quest. Why you would say Nevermind, like, I don't know. Like, if you decide, I don't want to complete this quest ever for some reason, never mind, run off, go do something. The option's there, it's nice to have it. But you can see there, like, you get the most gold and the most loot from quests, which, you know, I wouldn't call it loot, I would call it quest rewards. And, you know, for doing quests, you get rewarded, so therefore you have incentive to do quests, but, you know, there's no incentive to go out and actually fight anything in the world, because you don't get a damn thing for it, except maybe a couple pieces of gold. Or some meat or something off a mud crab if you kill it or something like that. Here's the line. She says that I was talking about. Oh, thank Ariel, someone who's not too blinded by my crown to ask a real question. Apologies. Of course I'd be happy to chat. What would you like to know? And Kate Beckinsale does a really good job of it. I mean, coming out, her voice coming out of this character, I wasn't always going, oh, hi, Kate Beckinsale, oh, hi, Kate Beckinsale. I was like, hi, Queen Irene, what are you doing here? So,
Yeah.
oh, this is one of my favorite lines of hers. Ha! Have you heard of some of the rumors? My exploits have been greatly exaggerated, I can assure you. Except the story about the bear. That one's true. I love this woman, and she is smoking hot, too. That armor, like, I wanted to be the guy who had to fit her for that. Think
Now
about the
we're going too
guy...
far.
Yeah, think about the guy who had to fit her for that. I wanted to be him. Moving
Okay,
on.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm not gonna agree with you. I'm not gonna say a animated character is hot. The voice actor.
Yeah, stop trying to not be awkward. You're a nerd.
I'm sorry. It's just
You're a nerd.
I
You
literally
know that there
cannot do
are
it.
women in games and anime that you crush on sometimes. I have the balls to
I mean,
admit that.
I'm not gonna say that when I play Dead or Alive, I don't watch the boobs bounce. But I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, Queen Irene's hot. There's no denying that. Plus, she's voiced by Kate
That's
Beckinsale.
hot.
Hot. I'm just saying.
Serrano was
Yeah,
hotter.
I actually sat here and like went through most of her dialogue, and I actually showed like how she crossed her arms and stuff in dialogue and stuff. Here's me riding my horse. I was going to the harborage. Now, I actually show the harborage as part of the All-Merit Dominion too, and it's actually this is like when you first enter the harborage. It's gorgeous already, but like when you open up into the main chamber, fucking this, you get this gorgeous friggin' cherry tree and all these ferns and palms and dangling moss and stuff. There's so much color and greenery everywhere.
Huh.
You can see how like it contrasts with the Ebonheart Pact's harborage in Morrowind.
Yeah.
And,
I
here he
like it.
is, and I actually went through a little bit of his dream sequence to, show that you got to go through it again. And, like, it's the same, but, like, stuff like the harbor and stuff is, different depending on what you do. Here he talks about the 5 companions. I show this again. That obviously didn't change at all. There's that. He actually has a memory of a dark anchor in there. He probably had to get sucked up into one of those, considering he was captured by Mannimarco and taken to Cold Harbor alive. That
Oh
poor son of a
God.
bitch wasn't... Yeah, like, he wasn't dead and soulless when he was in that chamber. He was actually being tortured. So, there's that. And, here you go, more...
So wait, I'm sorry. There was mention of Dragonborn in this game.
yeah. Uh, you know, the Emperor, up until, like, Martin Septon sacrifices himself to save us from the Oblivion Crisis, in Oblivion, the Emperor was always Dragonborn. Like, they didn't have any dragons to slay or anything, though. So, they couldn't, like, absorb dragons' power or anything like the last Dragonborn of Skyrim could.
But he could speak in the dragon tongue.
Uh, they could actually learn it. Like, they could go to the Greybeards and they could learn, and they would actually understand it faster than, like, say, the Greybeards would have, because they have that inborn knowledge. But, they'd still have to
Right.
absorb, like, it would still take them a long time, because the reason our Dragonborn, um, like, whenever he absorbed a dragon's soul, he was also absorbing the knowledge. Because whenever he slayed a dragon, he absorbed their soul and their knowledge and all their essence and their being into him or her, and that Dragonborn obviously, they instantly knew. Like, they didn't know how to say the word Yol and know how it meant fire, and then all of a sudden they killed a dragon that breathes fire. Suddenly I know how to. Suddenly I know how to use the Yol shout. And
Nice.
there is a fire breath shout, really useful too. Also, Storm Call, the one that makes your hand swing, but there's none of that in this game because lore-wise, none of that happens yet. That's a long ways off. There's no dragons at this time. At this time, they're still extinct, etc.
Right.
And you can see here, I'm just like taking screenshots. This is one of my favorites because it's looking out over like this bridge, and you've got all these different colors. This sort of like creek or a stream the bridge is built over. And then that was a waterfall like just further down the path, and then you got like that sort of like Caribbean looking water down there. You know how it's like that cyan crystal color?
Yeah.
That is beauty. I love like scenery like that. You just can't find that
Yeah.
anywhere where we live anywhere anyway.
Oh no, no.
And then, of course, here I'm fighting the Veiled Heritance, which is essentially they're a group of racists in the Aldmeri Dominion, probably spawning out of the Thalmor. That they're like, we're the Altmer, we're better than everyone else. How dare you consort with the Wood Elves and the Khajiit, you stupid bitch, Iren, fuck you. We're better. You're not the real queen. You're a heretic. Die. They're pretty much, the Westboro Baptist Church of the High Elves. And
Hmm.
See, there's me casting Crystal Blast. I had actually morphed it into Crystal Blast, and instead of forming shard, it forms like this glowing ball of energy surrounded by crystal shards swirling around it everywhere. And you see me throwing it out at the
Nice.
guy there. That's awesome. I love that spell. That just looks awesome. It looks like the sky opened up to shit out a bunch of crystals onto that guy, and he's just like, ugh! And I'm just sitting there with my staff like, fucker. That's why you don't fuck with me.
Well, how do you like? How do you, respond to something like that? This guy just shed crystals on you.
Yeah, he's dead right now, too, so, he got killed by sky shit. And yeah, you can see me here with my moon staff about to attack somebody that's running at me. Warriors can actually, enemy warriors can throw morning stars at you, and like shurikens and stuff like that. And they will do it too. I've had them do it several times, and here I'm in like a burned out city. I can't remember where exactly it was. I think it was called First Hold? Something like that. Here I am inside. I'm looking at the level up screen again. You can see how like I have the level up points, and you see the little glowing plus signs there. Like I can put it into Magicka, Stamina, and Health. It's just like Skyrim, except it's more in depth and it shows you. What you can do. You can also name your horse when you buy it too. Like in Skyrim, you couldn't really do that. You couldn't name your horse. It was always just Dojoan's horse. But here, I named my horse Nimbus. And if you're a nerd, you should probably
Nice.
get that reference. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
Catching you snitches.
actually,
Got 99 problems, but a snitch ain't one.
I actually just realized, I actually took Nimbus from Dragon Ball. The original Dragon Ball when he got that cloud. That
Oh,
was
the
called a
cloud.
Nimbus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I got it from. But I,
I was
I
thinking
forgot
it.
that Harry's broom was a Nimbus too. I forgot about that. So there's two different meanings to that name there, two different references, and that's nice. And I will say, everything in this game is friggin' expensive. Like, to feed your horse, you've got to pay 250 gold for fucking apple.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, look how many apples I found in Skyrim. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And, like, here, check out this chick's name. And if you played Skyrim, it should look familiar to you.
Dojuan?
No. Uh,
No.
I guess I have to wait.
Oh, it's that delay, man.
I keep forgetting about that. I hate that shit.
Ellenwin!
There you go. When I saw that name, I was like, don't trust this woman, don't trust this woman, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I hate it! But, this isn't the same
Oh
Ellenwood.
my
She's actually
god.
very kind. But, yeah, the name
Oh wow.
Ellenwood, and I like the fact that they use this name for other characters, too, because it shows that, uh, Elder Scrolls universe, there isn't a one Mario limit. There isn't a one Balgroof limit. There isn't a one, SWJ limit. There isn't that name, and it's only unique to you.
Yeah.
There's a bajillion Joshes in the world, and there's probably a bajillion Smiths in the world. And I like the fact that they have that in this universe. Like, there's more than one Ellen one. And there have been over time, and the one in Skyrim, we know the most because she's a stupid, stuck-up Nazi bitch.
Dull more bitch. Um,
Exactly!
I honestly, I hate to do it, but I think we should be finding a stopping point pretty soon on this.
Yeah, it's going on, what, like 5 hours of a stream?
I guess so. It's like almost 1 a.m. or it is 1 a.m. Wow.
Okay, well, I'm going to cycle through the rest of the screenshots here. Here, I'm actually collecting another Sky Shard that I found while on a quest. And here is one dungeon I had to have Jimmy come and help me on, and you can see Queen Irene is in here with me, and she's actually fighting with me. And the boss was
Nice.
so badass, he took both of us down.
It's like, yeah, screw the freaking throne. I'm gonna go fight.
Yeah, and then you have like ghosts in here. Like I was level 8, so everything here was equal to me, and like if more of them like came at me at once, it would hurt more. Always did. And you could see like anyone who's ever been in an alien ruin in Oblivion will recognize this instantly. Like that door, that's actually an alien door.
Huh.
And the aliens were the Heartland High Elves, and they were actually like when the Dragonborn thing first started. They Saint Alessia. You've heard that before if you've played any Elder Scrolls game. You've heard the name Saint Alessia, or you've seen it in a book. And
I haven't.
she was effectively the Jesus of like their religion, because um, she rebelled against the Heartland High Elves who enslaved humans and other lesser species. And they prayed to the Aedra, and Akatosh came down and presented her with an amulet of dragon blood, and it had like the power of the Dragonborn. And as long as her heirs wore that amulet, um, he would seal off Oblivion from Mundus and prevent them from interacting with the realm. And so the aliens who were like in bed with the Daedra pretty much, you know, they um they lost all their power and their advantage, and Alessia rose up with the Imperials and all the other human races and took the White Gold Tower in the Imperial City. And in Oblivion, the
Yeah.
reason that the Oblivion Crisis happens is no stable portals are supposed to be able to be created between Oblivion and the human realm. However, when the Emperor is killed and there are no like legitimate heirs, there's no one to sit upon the ruby throne, and as a result, the dragonfires go out. And when the dragonfires go out, the signification of the dragonborn emperor is gone. There's no more dragonborn emperors, and the Oblivion Crisis happens, and that's the whole story behind that. And the aliens were, their rulers, and there are alien ruins in the Somerset Isles and everywhere, but they just sort of disappeared, just like the dwarves did. And another fun fact is that fighting for the Bloodheart Pact, or not the Bloodheart Pact, the Ebonheart Pact, um, it actually turns out that Akavir, you've heard them mention that in Skyrim several times. It's the continent far
Yeah.
east of Tamriel. It's actually native to like giant snake men.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and like the Akaviri people attacked Tamriel, and they landed on the shores of the Ebonheart Pact, like Morrowind and Blackmarsh and everything, and that's the reason they all formed together to fight a common enemy. And then the Pact, when the Ruby Throne fell empty and everything, they all started fighting the Aldmeri Dominion and the Daggerfall Covenant to be able to take control and everything, put the Empire at ease and everything. But the Ebonheart Pact was actually formed specifically because of the Akavir invasion. And if you've seen like in Skyrim, if you've gone to the Blades Temple and you've picked up an Akaviri sword, they have katanas. The Akaviri are actually pretty much like the Japan or the Japanese of Nirn, which is really awesome, and it's nice to see that culture there. And it also seems mystical and mysterious, since you never see an Akaviri warrior, and they're apparently giant snake men, giant snake men. Not like the Argonians, but they're actually like 10-foot tall anthropomorphic snakes, which just sounds badass to begin with.
Hmm.
But let's try and get through the rest of these screenshots. I took a lot of screenshots of just random vistas just because of the beauty potential. and like the towns and stuff. The Aldmeri Dominion, they have probably the most beautiful zones that you will ever roam. Now, right here is actually I took a screenshot of my character traveling to Camp and Jimmy, and that's what
Huh.
it looks like. That's the animation for the travel spell. Whenever you travel to somebody, you actually bring up like this orb around you, and you like map out the stars to be able to teleport to them. It's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, like you map out the constellations and stuff. It's
Oh,
really cool.
that is
Other
cool.
and this is woodworking, which you use to make bows and staves. And the thing with woodworking is, you know, you go out in the world and you find maple logs and you chop them and you collect them, and you know you have rough maple, and you refine it into sanded maple, which then you use to make stuff with. And then here we have enchanting again. I have like all the different types of the runes up there. I really like the crafting because it's really in depth, dude. And I mean, there's so much you can work with. And here's one of the quests that was actually really hard to do because quest. Hello. Um, Crap. I think I just lost Ace. Excuse me one moment, everybody. I'm gonna need to, back out of the screenshots. Try and bring the call back up. Are you gonna get it back or what? Try and get Phoenix back, because we apparently lost him too. God, my call quality is so bad. Okay, so it couldn't let him in. Ah. Yeah, so... Oh, that's loud. There's somebody here?
Do do do.
Well, we got Phoenix back, everybody. Yay.
There we go.
Okay, so that's fixed. So I'm going to have to go back into the screenshots here and find out which one I was on. Jesus, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
So I went through, like, a lot of the screenshots. Let's see if I can't find the one I was on. I was somewhere right around here, so, create slideshow, please. Continue. I don't know what this is doing, but... You know what? Cancel. Crap. Create slideshow. Oh my god. Just sit tight with me, everyone.
All right.
Everything has to go wrong, doesn't it? But yeah, what was I saying before the call dropped?
Uh,
All of you who missed out are going to get to very quickly, uh, very briefly glimpse at all of these. I could actually loop those screenshots of Kletos dancing and put it to Gadon, now that I think about it. I'm actually really tempted to. Oh, I just realized. Who do we lose this time? Oh god, that's loud. My god, game,
Yeah,
that's
it's
loud.
really loud.
Or not game. See, I'm such a gamer. I'm like, whenever there's a noise and
Alright,
it's
can you hear
loud
me?
and irritating, yeah. Did we lose Phoenix again?
Hello?
Did we lose Phoenix again?
Hello, 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 hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Did we lose Phoenix again? Well, they're just great. Oh my god. Okay, I heard you for like a second. Okay,
Yeah,
I
I
can hear
don't know what's
something.
going
There we
on
go. There we go. Can you hear
with
me?
it. Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, so everything should be fixed now. I'm right back, right about
Okay.
where I was. So, yeah.
Okay.
Now I remember. This was a guild called the Undaunted, and they actually send you to a really hard dungeon to, test you.
Yeah.
That was a really hard quest. Me and Phoenix and Camp and Jimmy actually went into this, and my god, it was hard to do. We couldn't do it, and we were all like about level 10 at the time. I think this is actually the dungeon we went into, now that I think about it. Nope, this was different. We were actually looking for the books that would summon Archmage Shalador. I was dead right there. Riding through, looking at the scenery. I took every chance I could get to get a shot of a vista, just to show off how good the game looked. That right there just looks that right there just looks awesome because it's like He-Man's "I've got the power" stance.
I was gonna say that just looks power.
Yeah, that looks so badass. I was like, screenshot. And then all of a sudden, you bring up Archmage Shalador,
This
and
guy's
then
friggin' stealing my
he
show,
opens
man.
up the portal to Cheesemonger Hollow. And
Oh,
let's see.
jeez.
I still love that. And there's another Sky Shard, me absorbing its power. These are pretty much the Dragon Souls. This is pretty much the equivalent to Dragon Souls, except you need 3 of them for a skill point. You get 3 of these, you get a perk, pretty much. And that's pretty much how it works. Anyone who's played Skyrim will understand that, at least. You get 3 of these, absorb their power, you get a perk to spend on whatever you want to.
Nice.
And then here, I can't remember exactly. I don't know what that effect up there on the sky was. I think it was a bug. The beta was really buggy that time around. I'm to
All right.
understand, though, that this was actually behind the people on the PTS build of the
I got a
game.
question. So you escaped from prison. I get that from the beginning, but in the in Skyrim, the whole thing was you found out you were Dragonborn. What are you here?
Soul Shriven. The
Okay.
Prophet refers to you as Vestige, like the Prophet and Lyris, and probably all of the companions, the 5 companions, well, except Mana Margo, will refer to you as Vestige, but you're actually a Soul Shriven. Molag Bal took your soul, and like you spent some time in Cold Harbor, so you felt that despair and stuff seep into you.
Right.
So that's what you are. And there's Raz being the quiet ninja.
Oh, okay.
That quest was actually fun to do when it worked. And like you can see there, like just barely, it's sort of like vanishing. But if you look at the yellow text down there, you see Phoenix's screen name, like his character name.
Hold on. Yeah.
Phoenix the Queen.
Phoenix the Queen.
That made me facepalm. And there's me fast traveling again. I loved that effect so much. Like whenever I did it, I tried to get a good screenshot of it from a different angle, and I just love how awesome that looks. There is me and Phoenix just faffing about pretty much. He was level 3 at that point. Like, he had just started playing the game on Sunday when it was about to end or something, like Saturday or Sunday. He didn't play it long either, because, he had the mouse pad. He didn't want to, play with that on a laptop,
Yeah.
so he didn't get to do much. And there we've actually made it look like Phoenix killed me because there's a play dead emote and like he slashed at me and I typed in play dead and I fell over and pretended to be dead. That was a lot of fun to do. A couple of people actually stopped to like stare, I think. And then like here I was just going out and exploring. I ran around and looked around, did some business in town. I did some more enchanting.
I'm back.
I played a flute. Welcome back, Phoenix. Pretty much towards the end of the friggin' thing. I played a flute. That's one of the emotes. The flute music is good too. This was actually during a bugged quest where we were waiting on a bugged boss to actually spawn so we could fight it. So everybody just stood there and started, like
So why
dancing and
not play
playing
a
music.
flute?
Yeah. I actually stood there and played the lute. One guy played the flute. Someone had a drum out. That's just,
Nice.
badassery for posterity. Riding my horse through Oradon. Over there, like, I don't know if it's, like, big enough for you to see it, but if you look over to the right, you can sort of see, like, this little tuft of flowers, and they're, like, orange flowers, just sort of underneath the red tree. That's actually jute for, clothing and stuff. Oh, and, this quest was a little difficult because the enemies were a little bit too strong for me, but, those corruption stones were actually making the ghosts hostile. I thought, like, if you completed the quest, they wouldn't be hostile, but, not gonna happen. You can't, like, explore the area without being set upon by every angry motherfucker who's angry from being dead for 300 years.
Yeah.
And then, that was the sky shard over there that I had showed you guys earlier, that one where, someone was standing next to me. There's the maple that I was chopping for the woodworking. Found that out in the world. Now that glow is actually an ability you can get called Keen Eye. And depending on how close you are to one of these things out in the world, for crafting, it will actually glow for you to like highlight it and make it easier to spot so you can go get it.
Yeah.
Very useful.
Yes, Millie, we're still going. This should be ending soon.
Quite so. It shouldn't be too much longer. Cutting the maple, still dealing with the corruption stones. That effect looked so awesome, so I wanted to, get a couple screens of it. And, Alien Ruin, anybody who's played Oblivion can recognize the stonework and architecture here. It's Alien Ruin.
This is why I need to play Oblivion.
Yeah. Most of the dungeons in Oblivion, though, I'm not too big of a fan of them because there's no like exit at the end like in Skyrim, and a lot of them are copy paste and everything, especially the caves.
Right.
But for a game of its time, it was actually really good, and it's still fun, and I still enjoy playing it. It's just I prefer Skyrim. You probably will too, but I still recommend giving Oblivion a shot. Banished guard. Oh, that was an undead guard. This was a really, like, I think this is that dungeon that was, like, really difficult that me, Jimmy, and Phoenix tried. But I went in with a different group, and we actually made it all the way to the end boss, and then he pretty much made us a smear. Then I went outside after losing, fast traveled, played the flute outside of some place. I can't remember where that was, actually. Fast traveled again. Like I said, I really like that effect of fast traveling, where you do that.
Yeah.
I really like that effect. That is an awesome effect. They needed that in Skyrim, if you ask me.
Just love
And
the
then,
stars.
like, I got it to, like, at the point to where, like, it finished and I, like, turned spectral and then, like, the screen goes black and you appear wherever you want to go. I loved the effect of when I looked spectral and I wanted to get, like, a shot of it so bad, so I was just spamming the button. And then I got it from first person.
Yeah.
Because why
Yes,
not?
Willie. Phoenix's name was Phoenix the Queen.
Yeah. I just noticed that. Yep, Phoenix's name was Phoenix the Queen. I don't know why. He was playing as a female character, but still, it was just... It's like he wants to be made fun of. There's a good shot I got of the moons peering through the clouds over, like, a part of Canarthy's Roost. More fast travel screenshots. This was a rune. Now, this is another thing that you go out into the world and find. They're part of enchanting, and these are a lot of fun to find, because when you see them, you're like, oh, it's a rune! They're so fun to, like, see and then, like, run up to and grab and, like, get the rune out of them and everything. I love finding this stuff in the world. It makes exploring very rewarding and, everything. I don't find a lot of aspect runes, though, like the round ones. I don't find too many of those. It's always, the potency runes and the essence runes. And there's another Sky Shard. Me and Jimmy were actually sucking that one up. And, this one was actually really hidden. Like, if it hadn't been for the beam of light coming out of the rocks, we would have never known it was there. So, these things are actually pretty well hidden. And, in the journal screen under achievements, and collectibles, they actually have, like, a list of hints of where you can find these things, and whenever you find the one that, is, like, hinted, they check it off. Which is really nice. And here we are, still, getting vistas. Now this, this is the harborage for, Morrowind. I actually went back onto Cletus for a little while during the final beta, just to continue the main quest for a little bit, and I had to come back to Cold Harbor to rescue Lyris, and as you can see, all these zombie-looking Marilyn Manson Kratos people, they are soul shriven. They're pretty much soul shriven. They have no souls. They have no feelings or anything. They're emotionless. They just stand there all day doing work. They're pretty much people with jobs.
Wonderful analogy, Swoosh. Wonderful.
Probably one of my better ones today.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're people with jobs, pretty much.
I just realized that I think you just called me a soul shriven.
Pretty much.
Thanks.
Hey, if I wasn't bogged down with health problems, I'd be right up there with you. And, I actually took a lot of screenshots of Cold Harbor. Like, not many people actually got to this part, I imagine. So, I wanted to take a few good screenshots of this so people could see it. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to do until it bugged. This quest bugged. The main quest bugged for me. But I got to talk to Lyris again. We got to explore a little bit of Cold Harbor. It was nice and fun. This actually looks like Skyrim, and that's because, she's, it's kind of like the simulation in Saints Row 4. Molag Bal molds it up to, break your will and, like, shatter your soul and everything and, like, suck your soul out of you and everything. And this was actually, like, her home in Skyrim. Or a representation of it, and that was her dad. And you actually get to learn a lot of backstory information here. You get to see her dressed up in her armor there. This was a camp she was once stationed at, or people didn't like her, and she didn't want to get involved with the people there too much. She just wanted to do her job. So I took a few screenshots of that. I took a shot of this huge mountainous valley out in the distance, and I mean it just looks so bleak and it looks like Mordor but blue, if you ask me. So I went through this, and right here when she bashes the wall, it's supposed to break through, but it didn't, so I got stuck there. And then I think this is actually in the Deadlands, Mehrunes Dagon's Plane of Oblivion, which you can see why it's called the Deadlands. It's just red, bleak rocks everywhere, lava, pools, and shit. Yep, this was the Deadlands. This was a quest where I had to find and rescue a few people from something. I can't remember what it was. I think it was like a mage who kidnapped them all. Some more magical effects and stuffs. And for just shits and giggles, I got myself praying at that one for some reason. I just took that screenshot for shits and giggles.
Mordor? Millie actually commented on something as in Mordor.
Okay, so there's me collecting another potency rune. You see what I mean by everyone I find seems to be either a potency rune or... Like, there are no aspect runes, there are only potency and essence runes, which is annoying. And then here, I went up to this shrine that I found, and I'm like, for shits and giggles, kneel pray. And then, I took a few, different, that vista right there was amazing. Like, it looked like I was up on, the freaking Himalayas up there in Taiwan or something.
Yeah.
There's me starting the time travel, the travel thing, the fast travel thing, not time travel thing. Damn it, I've got Steins Gate and freaking Doctor Who on my mind again.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, okay, Doctor.
And this is the lock picking. It resembles Oblivion's more than it does Skyrim's, but it's a lot easier here than it is in Oblivion, because in Oblivion it's kind of hard to get into and it doesn't make much sense and it works differently. But here, what you do is you move the pick to the 1 and you move the pick down, and then when you move the pick down to jiggle it, what you do is whenever it starts to rattle a little bit, you let it go and it locks in place, and then you do that for every other pin.
Huh.
And as you can see, every one of them is different.
Yeah.
And then you see, opening up the chest, it's like in Skyrim, you open up chest, 21 gold pieces and some gloves. Yeah! If you've played Skyrim, this game, if you play in Skyrim, there's no reason you shouldn't like this game. And then, this is actually Cheesemonger Hollow. Everybody who played Oblivion, you're gonna notice this immediately because, Shivering Isles, there's Haskell again. Took a few screenshots of that. And that's actually part of the Mages Guild quest, so it seems like the Mages Guild quest is the same no matter which alliance you choose. So it's the same experience no matter what you get. And I think that's for the Fighters Guild too, because the Fighters Guild actually specializes in closing the Dark Anchors.
Nice.
And there, my health was down. I don't know what I was fighting there, but I took a screenshot of the Vista because I was like, I don't care if it kills me, I want the Vista. I think, my health bugged at that point. At that point, I was in a disguise, which was really nice. I ended up looking like Grigori Rasputin elf there. History nerds will probably understand what that means. That was actually the Lover Stone. So, standing stones are in the game, in every alliance, in every province, and everything. So, you have these. And you can go up to them and you get their bonuses. I think the Lover Stone was either bugged or because I had the Lady Stone or something on me or something or other I couldn't get this. Which disappointed me because, the Lover has always been a very helpful stone because it always allowed you to increase your skills faster by 10%, all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and Millie asked, do we only talk about ESO on here? No, that's just this podcast.
Yeah, that's just this one. This is our first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do more podcasts, and we're going to, discuss more things as, we come up with them. We'll probably end up discussing things like, events in gaming. Say, some mothers get together, and they're like, oh, blah, 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 gaming is bad for our children and stuff, and we'll get on here and we'll discuss that, and we'll say why they're wrong, and I really want to do one on why the Mass Effect 3 endings weren't bad. So, you guys tune in for that one, because the one on the Mass Effect 3 endings not being bad is really going to fucking rock your world, because I have a lot to
I
say
might
about
actually
that.
be absent for that one because I've already heard the whole thing. You guys are in for a treat.
Yeah, I will fucking rage hard. I'm not kidding. I will rage hard about that. This
There will be
dungeon was
much
pretty damn
rage.
hard. This dungeon was... Oh my god. Oh, Camp and Jimmy logged on in that part, and I was like, Jimmy! Jimmy! Type! Jimmy, help us! Because this dungeon was actually pretty hard for our level. And then we got out of the dungeon. They went their separate ways. And I went around and explored a little more, which was a lot of fun. I think one of the reasons I explored a little more because the quest was probably bugged a little bit.
Assassin's Creed could be a possibility.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed really could be a possibility because, that's Phoenix's domain right there. He loves the Assassin's Creed series.
That's their domain. I'm actually that's another game series I'm actually just getting into. I have Assassin's Creed 2 and I'm just getting into it, and I played 3. We'll have like a specific subject every podcast. It could
Yeah.
be a certain game or something in gaming news.
Yeah, or we might even do one that's just in general, like general talk, like, kind of like Sessler's Soapbox, where he sits down and talks about something, or, but it'll be a little bit more random, like we'll actually, like bring up a topic and discuss that, like we would normally in real life.
Yeah, just a bunch of friends hanging out and talking and stuff,
Yeah, so we'll probably do
Just
that on
don't think of
occasion.
it as a podcast. Think of it as a bunch of friends hanging out and chatting.
Yeah. Well, at least for those bits. Like, this one is actually a podcast because we have a specific topic that we're talking about, and we're doing it for the benefit of people interested in the topic.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, but this is the way we talk on Xbox Live.
Yeah. Like, we'll actually
Nothing's
sit and we'll
changed.
have, a debate on something. We'll discuss something that we like about it and everything. And that's one of the biggest points about a podcast is, for a group of people to sit down and discuss something in depth and in detail, which is what we're doing here. Another screenshot. I think we're getting to the end of the screenshots.
Yeah.
I don't remember who she was. I think this was First Hold, maybe. This quest was a lot of fun to do because I had to go out and rescue these people who were being attacked by little midget things that were actually pretty damn tough. And I was like, oh, you people need help from this. What the hell is that? Why is it? Oh my god, it hurts so bad!
Huh.
So, yeah, like, those attacks they're doing right there with, like, the glowing lightning balls, they'll, like, drop a quarter of your health in one hit. Another potency rune, like, you've seen all the runes that I've found and took screenshots of. Potency and essence, mostly potency. I never find any aspect runes. I remember this dungeon was bugged. I was swimming for this one. This one was a lot of fun to take. I actually really liked this screenshot. See, now, you noticed up... Phoenix,
mic off.
unless you're gonna say something, the background noise. Thank you. Now, if you notice up in the right-hand corner of this picture, you know how most of the quest titles that were up there were yellow? Up in the top right corner, you know how most of them were yellow, and then they have like the quest objective or description there in white.
Yeah.
Well, you see how that one up there is orange?
Yeah.
That actually indicates difficulty. So obviously, if something is more difficult, it's going to be orange, and like, if it's really, really difficult, like if you shouldn't be there, it's going to be red. So it actually, tiers of difficulty. And like,
Okay, that'll help.
if you look in the same screenshot here, you can see a Nirn root just to the left of Dojuan's head over there on the beach just a little bit, and you might notice a little shining thing off in the water, and that's actually like a spot where you can collect pure water to use as a solvent in alchemy.
Huh.
Yeah, so I forgot about those two things until just now, and I'm actually really glad that I got. So there's me picking up the Nern route. I swam to shore, picked up the Nern route. Here, I'm taking a screenshot of that. Took a screenshot here too. Someone was apparently dancing in the water over there. Another alien ruin that I came across. I don't know if I'd been to it before or not, but I came across another one of those. This one, I just thought that was so amazing because I was trying to figure out a way to get on this island because apparently the bridge was blockaded, so I couldn't get over there. So I figured there must have been another way. So I ended up swimming around it, and I was like, my god, those cliffs are friggin' amazing. I was like, never getting up that unless I sprout wings out of my ass and fly. And so here's me just walking through the woods. More walking through the woods just from a different perspective. Another perspective. This is actually a screenshot of the city First Hold, I believe it was called. I actually found a way past the barrier. Started getting screenshots. This city was built on an island that was absolutely gorgeous. All these colors. I was so impressed and taken aback by most of it. And most of these screenshots are from like quests and stuff, unless I'm actually just, running around and exploring. And I didn't actually have to come to First Hold. I actually got a quest from another city, and it took me there. And for people who have played Oblivion, you're going to see Oblivion gates in these next few screenshots, because the Deadlands actually opened up here.
Ooh, I'm gonna get to see Oblivion gates. All right.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls Online style. That's an Oblivion gate right there. It's kind of a mix between the Eye of Sauron and the Yu-Gi-Oh symbol on the back of the cards with the swirl.
Yeah.
And yeah, I actually took screenshots of it to show you what it was like. Burned out city, then this beautiful part of the city over there that was completely untouched somehow. This is what the Deadlands looks like. It's inside a cave. You go through the cave. It's really barren. There's, blood red and black everywhere and barren rock and wards and shit. There's the sigil stone you have to use to close the gate, and then you see like the Eye of Sauron towers off in the distance, and they're all spiky and menacing. After playing Oblivion, that actually really took me back. Made me even want to play Oblivion a little bit. I don't know what that fire effect on my staff was. But it looked badass, so I wanted to get a picture of it. And, a picture of, the beautiful white and pink and red and green everywhere. All the natural beauty. And then, there's another Oblivion gate down there inside the Pell Tower of Notre Dame.
Huh.
And then, like, in the Deadlands, you see all this torture stuff everywhere. Skeletons hanging from them. Fire traps and shit. Another Oblivion gate. Going through, the Deadlands. That is a Spider Daedra that guy is fighting right there, and a lesser Spider Daedra. The Spider Daedras are essentially, they're women with, like, their lower half is a spider. Their design is bad. I wish I could have gotten a better look. Unfortunately, I didn't. And, I went into that one. I didn't face any opposition at all. There was nothing in that to fight. I just walked right up to the sigil stone and poked it, and boom. Then this one opened up. I took a few screenshots before winning. Going inside, and, this is actually a good example of what the Deadlands are like. It's like black, ash, and char, volcanic, and badlands everywhere. Old ancient, Satan worshipping ruins and shit. And there was the
okay,
boss we
that's
had to
all.
fight down there. And you can see, like, the Flame Atronachs down there. Like I said, they're lesser Daedra. That's why you see them in there all the time. Then I came back out and I spoke to Raz, went outside, spoke to Irene. And I think this is, like, right before, like, I just hit level 10. It was, like, 10 minutes before the beta ended. So the screenshots are really close to ending.
Okay.
So if you can see here, I actually go through, like, I take screenshots and I go through all of, like, these different trees. Like, under class, you have Dark Magic, Daedric Summoning, Storm Calling. And then you see, like, up there, like, the level of, you know, your ability. Like, right now, I'm in the Destruction Staff part of the weapon area, and it's, you know, Destruction Staffs are at level 19. And then, you know, I've got Electric, Destructive Touch 4 there, and then I've got Elemental Blockade number 1, and then you know, I have Force Shock there. So I go through, like, these, and I show you, like, how many there are. Like, under Weapon, you know, there's points you can put in two-handed, one-handed, and shield, dual-wield, bow, Destruction Staff, Restoration Staff, armor, light armor, medium, heavy armor, and you can be a sorcerer and use all that, too. You can actually put points into any of that. And, you know, there's World with Soul Magic, which is where the Soul Trap spell is. The guilds, Fighters Guild, Mages Guild. The Mages Guild, I recommend joining it, because the persuasion option for dialogue checks is there, and I didn't have it for the longest time because I forgot about that. And a lot of the times in quests, you'd be forced to persuade characters. And as a result, like, I didn't have the persuade checks or the intimidate checks, which you get for the Fighters Guild, and I would have to pay them to bribe them, and that would, like, eat through my money. Which, you know, for people who, you know, always end up getting all that money because, you know, they're kleptomaniacs and everything, that's not really a problem. But for me, you know, even, you know, just being a kleptomaniac, you're not getting loot off of enemies that much. You're getting 1 to 2 gold off of one enemy, and maybe like a really crappy white item. So, you know, money is actually very hard to come by in this game unless you go around and do nothing but quests. You can amass a small itty bitty fortune of maybe a few thousand gold if you're lucky. But, you know, you gotta spend it on so much stuff, like so much else, like, you know, maybe you want to buy a soul gem to go into PvP with you so you can resurrect someone who falls in combat. Because you can do that. You can actually resurrect a friend. You can't just, you don't have to just, you know, resurrect yourself. You can resurrect a friend if you want to, or anyone else. You can go up to a random stranger who just died and offer to resurrect them. And if they accept it, they come back to life, and, you know, you've helped them out and everything. So there is there are benefits to having a lot of, you know, other people running around. It's not just, you know, silly people jumping around in their underwear. I'm Butthole Slayer.
I
There,
love that guy, and I didn't even see him.
yeah, I really wish I had taken a screenshot. I was just so taken aback as he ran by. I just stared, and I didn't think to snap a screenshot of him. And then, you know, you have your racial abilities. Khajiit racial abilities, actually, you know, you put points into health and sneak. They actually had sneak as a racial ability, which adds to stealth. So they're better played as stealth characters, but you don't have to. I can play successfully as a mage with any race I want to if I like mages. And, you know, I'm not really constricted. You know, their stuff is more tailored to warriors, but I don't have to be a warrior. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult for me, and it's not really that bad. And then under crafting, you have alchemy, blacksmithing, clothing, enchanting, provisioning, which is kind of like survival stuff, and cooking. And then woodworking, which is staves and bows, and, you know, blacksmithing is self-explanatory. Clothing, self-explanatory. I'm wearing clothing. So here we are in Cyrodiil again. I didn't actually get to fight because, you know,
Really?
people were starting...
Resurrections. Sorry to interrupt, Switch, but I saw this line, and I saw that she said something, and I had to say, in the defense of the whole resurrection thing, that's every MMO.
Yeah.
That's not really something that WoW started. That's
Yeah,
every MMO.
that is something, by the way, that I like as a part of this game. Like, you know, having the ability to, like, soul gems in, like, Skyrim. if you're not an enchanter, they have no use. But I mean, if you have one on you and it's filled in this game and you die, if it's the appropriate type of level, you can actually resurrect yourself on the spot. And I like that. I know it's an MMO thing, but I like having it in an Elder Scrolls game because it's more convenient. Like I don't have to load my game.
Right.
I don't have to load my game over again. I don't have to sit through a 3-minute loading screen or anything because the loading screens in
That's the
Skyrim
beauty of
are,
MMOs. Like, there's really not a point in having a save feature. It just
everything
it's
auto
where you leave
saves.
off.
Like it's all saved on the server. You don't have to quick save all the time, or you don't have to worry about crashes.
Yeah,
Like
and it's not always freaking, it auto saves at certain point. If you take 2 steps, when you load back, that's probably where you'll be.
yeah, I mean it's always saved. Like it's permanently saved on the server. Everything you do is saved. Like you remember how
Yeah, that's why they
yesterday?
don't have an exit. If you save now, all unsaved progress will be lost. You never see that in an MMO. Why?
Yeah,
Because there's no such thing as unsaved progress. Everything is saved.
that's actually nice and refreshing in an Elder Scrolls game because anyone who's played Oblivion and Skyrim knows that's a nice thing to have because there's so many loading screens and they're so ridiculous. Like Skyrim's loading screens, I was using one of those flash drives not tailored for the 360 to save one of my characters on, and because I was doing that, it took twice as long to save because it wasn't formatted right, and so I would literally have to sit there for 4 minutes through a loading screen every time
Right.
I went through a door. It was ridiculous. Now you remember yesterday, like when the beta was ending and we were about to watch that one video with Chris Hardwick? I told you
Yeah.
about, like the Aldmeri Dominion's forts had floating rocks over glowing crystals. Well, here's the
Yeah.
screenshots of that.
Huh.
So you actually get to see, what those look like. And I actually went outside and, like, this is in Cyrodiil. Like, this is the very southern part of Cyrodiil, like, really close to Elsewhere. Because, that's where the Aldmeri Dominion starts out in
Still
Cyrodiil.
love that that's called Elsewhere.
Yeah, like they actually have a lore explanation for that. I can't remember what it was, but the Khajiit, I think it was the Khajiit lived somewhere, like they were like living somewhere in coexistence with the Argonians, and they got into a big falling out or something, and like the Khajiit leader at the time was like, very well, we will go to a land, and it will be elsewhere, and they literally decided to call it Elsewhere.
Nice.
I'm probably wrong on that. Someone can, shout at me in the YouTube comments. I know that lore is there. I can't remember where I saw it or how long ago I saw it, but I remember seeing that lore somewhere. So they actually have an explanation for it. It wasn't just like, what are we going to name this country with these cat people? Let's call it Elsewhere and give them sexy Persian accents. So whatever they say their homeland's name, it just sounds like Antonio Banderas all the time.
Wait. Elsewhere.
Exactly. I mean, like Andre Sogliuzzo, or Sogliuzzo. It's like an Italian name, I think. I can't really. I butchered it. I know I probably butchered it, but he's been in a lot of stuff we've done. We've played and everything. Look up a little bit of his work, guys. He actually did a few voices in my favorite series, Destroy Humans. He plays the Khajiit, and he does like that Persian Arabic accent with the Khajiit. I like to joke. I know it's like an Arabic sounding accent, but I like to joke and call it Persian because cats.
Persian.
Yeah, I used to be able to roll my R's good. Persian. There we go. I rolled my R a little bit.
I can't do that crap. I can't do it.
Yeah, like
I
if you spend
a
enough
growl thing in the back of my throat.
Yeah, if you spend enough time, like around Frau in German class, you kind of picked it up. It's like being around someone with an accent. Yeah, one of our best teachers, everybody.
Oh,
We went to
yeah.
school together, and we had a German teacher who was awesome.
I remember trying for 3 years to get German class with her, and I asked every year for German class, and I never got it. The one year I asked for construction.
And then you got German
Yeah.
class for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frau, I
So
will
yeah,
never.
she
Like,
asked
my
me for it.
favorite
She
moment
goes,
of hers.
"You're really good at this German stuff. You're really good at this, and you pay a lot of attention. And I'm really impressed with it. Why have you never thought about taking this before?" I did. I tried every year before this. She goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." I then signed up for construction because I gave up, and then they put me in here. So here I am.
And you know what? Frau actually liked to. She was a little bit of a gamer too. One of her favorite series was Destroy All Humans.
I have
Th-
respect for her.
yeah, and one of the funniest things is, I will never forget. Like, my favorite moment of hers was, you know how she was doing like the announcements and stuff on the screens. They called her and they like wanted her to do it at a specific time when she didn't have to do it, and then she hung up the phone, and all of a sudden I just remember her saying "Ich kann meinen Popelkussen," which, if you know any German at all, you know what that means. And the fact that she said that just like in German to, like, I burst out laughing at that in the class, and everybody just stared at me, and I'm like, what? Nobody else caught that? But if you want to know, it's you can or ear con meinen Popokusen. Because ich means I, but ear means like y'all. So essentially, she just said y'all can kiss my ass in German. And that's why I burst out laughing, and everybody just stared at me. I'm like, nobody else in this class seriously caught that. Come on, half of you are like higher level than me or whatever. So yeah, and I do believe we are coming upon the end of screenshots and the end of the stream. Lol. So this is like the part where I was like, okay, so they're like, you can see down their system. Everyone at ESO would like to thank you for participating in our beta, and we hope you had fun. The server will be shutting down momentarily. It went 20 minutes longer, so I didn't know what to do. So after standing there and dancing for like 5 minutes, I was like, is it gonna end? Oh well, fuck it, I'm leaving. So I went back to whoa. Oh, this is where the Thalmor showed up. So like, I actually went to this place, and you see that guy standing there with all those people like kneeling when it catches up,
Yeah.
when the stream catches up. Um, that's a Thalmor, and he's training like other races to be a part of the Thalmor, but they're like talking them down and abusing them and treating them like slaves because they're the Thalmor. They think they're better than everybody. So
Yeah.
the quest there was actually one of my favorite quests because I didn't get to finish it because it was bugged, like every other quest. But you actually got to like investigate the college for signs of abuse as an agent of the Queen, who was in favor of being friends with all the other races and uniting uh, all of Tamriel, which was awesome. And I was like, you know what? The Thalmor are the dicks. It's not the High Elves. They might have a high opinion of themselves, and they might be stuffy sometimes, but this queen is cool, and there are a lot of people who respect her and agree with her. So I actually liked being a part of the Aldmeri Dominion. It was a lot of fun. So here you could see, like, I had like, I was questioning this guy. I was like, how do you justify abuse? And he's like, oh no, we're not. This is not a cafe. This is war. This is training ground. This is boot camp. We can boot people in the butt all we want, and blah blah. And I was like, yeah, you're so full of shit. But yeah, I sat in here and I talked to these people. I took a screenshot, and you can see the testimony of like the Khajiit members and the Bosmer members. Their cruelty for cruelty's sake. They treat us like slaves. We're supposed to be training to become part of them, but they treat us like slaves. Yada yada. And so I'm like, well,
Yeah.
the Thalmor are just douches across time. And you see this training student out here who's all beat up and hurt. Nobody cares. Like, I can't do anything to help him. Uh, and I just took a couple Vista shots and managed to get the missing textures crap in there. That guy there is like forcing the wood elf to do jumping jacks, folding their arms and stuff. And the world actually feels alive because these characters, a lot of them actually do stuff. Like, they're programmed to do stuff. They have paths, and they do things. And they don't just stand there waiting for you to run up to them. I need you to go kill 5 mushroom gods!
Huh.
So, yeah, I actually... This game... Final thoughts and conclusions on it. I definitely believe that it is worth the $15 subscription. The $15 subscription will, let us come out with, good content in the future. It'll support the devs, so they can, keep their jobs, and we can keep good customer support. And over time, if they make their money back, they might actually, like expand on this so much that they, add something to it, or maybe even come up with a sequel. And some of that money might even go into making Elder Scrolls 6. I definitely believe it's worth it. I had a lot of
Oh
fun
yeah.
playing it, and I can't stand MMOs. I like the Elder Scrolls series. I wouldn't say I'm like a huge fan. Like, I haven't played from the beginning, but I do love the series. I like Oblivion. I love Skyrim. I never got to play Morrowind, but I would have liked to have played it if I'd had like an Xbox back in the day instead of a PlayStation. So, coming from, I've played MMOs before, never got into them. I hated their gameplay and stuff. I really even couldn't get into stuff like Star Wars The Old Republic or even Neverwinter or anything.
Yeah.
And so, I came into this.
Judging by everything I've seen, I think it's it's a whole new change of pace, and it's very interesting. And
It
I think I
really,
would
it really
definitely
is.
try that first month and give it a shot.
Yeah, it really is. I will vouch for this game. It's really good for what it is. And nobody should really judge anything or anyone for what it or they aren't. You shouldn't, like judge a pop singer for not being a good writer, too. Because, everyone has a specific talent they go for, and everyone has a specific niche, and there's always going to be good games and bad games depending on taste and opinion, but there's also going to be, games that are factually bad for, terrible graphics, horrible bugs, they're unplayable. But, for a game like this, even with all its bugs, I had a lot of fun. And, the
Oh
bugs,
yeah.
that's what the beta's for. We're there to report, the bugs. That's what the /bug, command was for, to, report bugs. And I reported quite a few of the, really bad bugs.
Which, yeah, and what you said earlier, they had a curse of releasing with bugs. Like there's a curse thing for them. Well, maybe this beta, since they're doing their first online crap, maybe this will help. And when they release it, it won't be like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
Yeah, well, betas, like, nobody ever catches everything because, there are a lot of people who treat the beta like a demo. They allow people to play it so, they can, it's, free beta testers, essentially. People get, the privilege to play the game for free, test out the bugs, judge it, and everything. Give feedback. Like, I actually got to give a little bit of feedback. You could open up the feedback menu and, like, type them, like, a message saying, like how I believed in PvP, like, I wanted, like, there's a surrender emote, right? So you can surrender to
Right.
people in PvP so they don't kill you. Well, the thing that I didn't like was, like, there's not an emote for, like, having your hands tied behind your back or something, which, for me would have, like, increased immersion. Like, you could have, like, made your hands tied behind your back and, like, walked with them, like, as their prisoner, and, like, your people could have come down the hill all Alamo charging style to free you, or, like, broken in, like, during their siege on the keep, broken you out of the dungeon or something. It would have been nice to have had, something like that, to,
Yeah.
add to the gameplay and, the strategy, like, have, like, a hostage, and, like, if that person, like, has, items on them, like, if you kill that person, you get all their items, and, you want to try to preserve that person, so, you've got to do, negotiations and stuff. I actually, typed that out in a feedback thing before the beta ended that day, like, earlier in the day.
Yeah.
So that was something that I threw in my like 10 cents. Like everything else though, I didn't really have a problem with, except that every quest was bugged and wasn't completable. Like there were so many quests that if I had completed, like I would have probably been level 20 by the time the beta ended. But because I couldn't complete any of them, I was stuck at like level 10 or 9 or something, and I couldn't go forward. But yeah, we're coming to the end of the podcast, everybody. We're coming upon the end of everything here. So to wrap everything up, Phoenix, before we sign off, is there anything you want to contribute?
Huh?
Before we sign off of the podcast, is there anything you want? It's like, no, we haven't been in a podcast the whole damn time.
Oh, I have something that I want to contribute to the end of the podcast.
Okay.
I was there for that whole sordid affair. Marvelous time. Butterflies, blood, a fun.
And with that, good night.
Yeah, Phoenix's background noise ruined it all.
Hail Talos.
I'm going to enjoy future podcasts if I don't kill myself first.
Hail Talos.
Yeah, I'm going to go bang my head off a wall now, everybody. For those of you watching on YouTube, thank you for watching and sitting through this like 5 hours of a bunch of idiots talking about shit. They probably have no idea what they're talking about for the most part.
3 dorks in a podcast.
3 dorks in a podcast, yes. Thank you for coming out and watching tonight. Anybody on Twitch who's watching, thank you for being there and, joining us. Thank you for asking questions. Want to give a shout out to everyone who was here. Drax, One Banana, Twin, Millie. Appreciate you being here. And with that, we are officially going to sign off with the podcast. I hope this offered you guys some insight into, gaming in general, as well as Elder Scrolls Online, and whether or not it is a game that should or should not be worth your money. And hopefully I will see you guys on the Xbox One version of the game, and maybe we can all play together. My gamer tag is SWJS, SWJ, as you know. So, Phoenix,
And
Arlen.
just throw it out there, since I'm kind of modding for everything and kind of communicating for him. I'm Ace Ninja X, just in case some people didn't catch that in the chat. If you have any questions, or if you want like a gamer tag, or if you want to talk to him outside of it, like on Xbox or something, feel free to message me. I will give away gamer tags and stuff to the people that need it and all that. I'm open to accept questions, and if I can't answer, I'm very happy to send them to him.
Yeah, and I do have a Steam account. It's SWJS1, because some douche nipple already took SWJS for some reason.
That guy.
That one guy who's like, I'm going to randomly take these 4 letters and type them in.
Where you're like, yeah, this guy, this guy, this guy. And then there's this asshole. Well, that's the guy we're talking about.
There's always that one person, but yeah. Thank you guys for coming out so much. Thank you to Ace and Phoenix thank you to Ace for being here, and Phoenix for, being absent-minded the whole damn time.
Thanks for letting me participate. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do, and I can't wait to do more of these. So, we'll catch you guys later. Good night, farewell,
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen! Siegenhagen Sloschenweil!
Enjoy the cheese.
Tongue.
And just like that, the magic is gone.
Zigile.
Just like that, the magic is gone.